Welcome to our Audacity tutorial. This is a tutorial to help you learn some of the basic features for the program Audacity. This application or program is used to edit audio. You are going to record audio for your project, so we will put that audio in our Audacity application and use it to edit our audio. So let's go over some of the basic features that you may have to use while you are working on your project. This section here is called the playback buttons. Within the playback buttons, you have the pause button, which pauses your audio, the play button, which plays your audio, the stop button, that stops the replay of your audio or stops your current recording, the skip to start, which moves all the way back to the beginning of your audio, or the skip to end button, which moves to the end of your audio, and then your record button, which records audio from the microphone or the microphone within your laptop. This section here is part of the Tools toolbar. The first button that looks like a capital I is a selection button. It makes selections in your projects. Then you have what is called the envelope button. It looks like two arrows pointing towards each other and a blue line going through. This changes the intensity of your sound. Then you have what looks like a pencil that is called a draw tool, and it modifies the pitch and tone in more detail. The magnifying glass is called the zoom tool, and it zooms in on your project. And the two arrows pointing to the left and right, this is called the time shift tool, which moves your whole or a selected portion of your project. And the last button is called the multi-tool mode, which is a combination of the selection envelope and the time shift tools. Then we have a section here that's part of the edit toolbar. This section here, the first part, is called the output volume. Basically, it controls how loud or how quiet your volume is through your output device, which would be your microphone. This section to the right is your input volume, and it changes how loud or how quiet your volume is through your input device. We have another section that is part of the edit toolbar, and the first button is called the cut button. This cuts out any section of your audio that you don't want. Next to that is the copy button. This is where the button you would use to copy a section of your audio. The next button is called the paste button. So whatever you cut or copied, you would use this button to insert those sections of audio. These next two buttons are basically, the first one trims your audio, so it isolates a section of your audio so that you're able to trim it. And then you have a silence audio, which you can basically pick parts within your audio, and you can mute those selected sections within your audio. Then you have your undo button, which undoes the last recent change that you make, and your redo button, which redoes the last undone change. What looks like a stopwatch is called the sync lock tracks button. This keeps multiple tracks from moving out of order or a set order. Then you have your zoom in button, which zooms in on your project, and zoom out button, which zooms out of your project. The next button is called your fit selection. This actually isolates a section of your audio, and then the button that's after that is called the fit project. It's going to loop your sections or selections throughout your project. The green play button here is what you'll play to play your audio at a selected speed. And the last part here is where you will select your speed. You can select it to go slow, or you can select it to go fast. The last part of this tutorial is going to talk about the tabs at the top. These are buttons that you should be familiar with. You know that usually those are important buttons, and they also can lead you to other features or buttons that will help you edit your project. But I'm just going to go over the file, because that's the only button that we'll use. And like I said, we're not going to use every single feature here, but I'm going over the basic. So once you click the file button, this window will open, and we're not going to use all of those buttons. I'm not going to go over what they mean. I know there's about 3 tabs that we'll click: New, Open, and Save Project As. If you click on the New, that's what we'll use when we start our project or begin our project. If you have to save your project, you will then go back to find your project by clicking the Open button. So the Open button will be used to go in and find your project. Once you ended your project or you're finished with your project, you will use the Save Project As button. Once you click on that, this box will open up, and it is your Audacity file. You will save your audio in here using your first name, last initial, and this is where you will be able to find your audio by going into the Audacity folder. If you have any questions about this project, please make sure that you ask. Also, we didn't go over all of the features, so feel free to try out some things. You may learn of other features that I may not be aware of. But these features are there to help you and help you make your audio sound even better. So play around with it and do a test before you actually get started with your project. I wish everybody well, and once again, ask questions if you have any questions.